All right, today we're jumping into this incredible high stakes race happening right now in Southeast Asia. You've got Malaysia just sprinting headfirst into the AI future. But its laws, they're kind of stuck in the past, struggling to catch up. It's this classic story of innovation versus inertia, and we're going to break down who's actually winning.
AI is popping up everywhere in Malaysia, from hospitals to farms, right? It's changing lives. It's boosting the economy like crazy. But it also begs this huge question. As the machines get smarter and smarter, who's actually in charge? Who is setting the boundaries here? And that's really the core tension we're going to explore. So, before some recent changes, the whole AI scene in Malaysia was, well, you could call it a bit of a Wild West. It was packed with opportunity and amazing innovation, for sure, but also pretty chaotic. There were no clear laws for this powerful new frontier. And this is the real heart of the issue. You have this absolute explosion of AI tech, but the legal system is running to catch up. And this gap, this regulatory vacuum, it creates a ton of uncertainty and risk for basically everyone, from the people coding the AI to you and me. And look, this isn't just my opinion. This is coming straight from the top. The minister in the Prime Minister's department herself said that the country's legal system is, well, quite traditional. Her words. These laws were built for a totally different world, and they just aren't equipped to handle the kinds of questions AI throws at us. Think about it for a second. How do you apply an old law about human negligence to a decision made entirely by an algorithm? It's a huge, complicated puzzle. So faced with this massive challenge, the Malaysian government knew they couldn't just sit back and wait. They took a really crucial first step to bring some order to the chaos. So let's take a look at the new rule book they've introduced. And here it is. It's called IJ. Now, it's not a set of hard laws with, fines and penalties. Think of it more like a vital stopgap. It's a set of voluntary guidelines, and they're designed to steer AI development in the right direction while the government hustles to craft the permanent laws. These guidelines are really built around these 7 core ideas, things like fairness, transparency, and accountability. The whole point is to create this ethical foundation to make sure all this powerful tech is ultimately aimed at one goal: making people's lives better. And this wasn't just a decision made in a vacuum. The demand for this was huge. A whopping 84% of stakeholders, we're talking about the very people building and using this stuff, said yes, we need clear ethical principles. It really shows you there's this strong feeling that you can't have growth without responsibility. Okay, so we've talked about the rules, but what's really at stake here? What does this all mean on the ground? Let's look at how this AI revolution is already shaking up daily life all across Malaysia. Let's start in healthcare, where the impact is, quite literally, a matter of life and death. 97%. That's the mind-blowing accuracy an AI in a Kuala Lumpur hospital has for detecting cardiac conditions. This isn't just a small improvement, this is a total game changer for diagnostics. And just look at this comparison. When it comes to spotting tiny, hard-to-see lung nodules on X-rays, the AI is consistently outperforming human radiologists. Now, the goal isn't to replace doctors, but to give them this super-powered tool that can spot things the human eye might just miss. But this goes way beyond medicine. In finance, you've got AI making sure banking products follow Islamic law. In farming, it's helping farmers sell directly to buyers, cutting out the middleman. Logistics companies are slashing their costs. And if you've ever been in Kuala Lumpur, you know they're using AI to try and finally sort out that famous traffic. It's being woven into the very fabric of the economy. But here's the thing. For every one of these success stories, there's a really thorny legal question that still needs an answer. These guidelines are a fantastic start, but they can't solve everything. Let's dig into the puzzles that are still on the table. This is probably the biggest one for a lot of us. AI needs data to learn. Our data. But how do you keep personal information safe when the old privacy laws were written way before machines started thinking for themselves? And people have every right to be worried. 70% of Malaysians are concerned about this exact issue. And it's not some abstract fear. Data breaches have shot up 50% since 2020. We all saw what happened with Samsung, right? When employees accidentally leak secret code to ChatGPT. The risk is very, very real. Okay, now here is a fascinating legal headache. If an AI comes up with a brilliant new invention, or, say, writes a beautiful song, who owns it? Who gets the patent or the copyright? And here is the legal snag. Malaysian copyright law is basically stuck in the 80s. The Copyright Act of 1987 is crystal clear. It says an author has to be a human.
This creates a massive IP gap, because if AI-generated stuff can't have an owner, who's going to invest the money to create it in the first place?
And this might just be the most important question of all. When an AI messes up, and it will, when it denies someone a loan unfairly, or makes a bad medical call, or causes an accident, who's to blame? Is it the person who wrote the code? The person who used the AI? The company that sold it? Well, right now, that's a huge problem. Only 30%, just 3 out of 10 Malaysian companies, have any kind of AI accountability guidelines in place. That means the other 7 out of 10 are using this powerful technology with no clear plan for what to do when it inevitably goes wrong. That is a massive gap in governance. So, how does Malaysia navigate all these tricky questions? Well, the country is in a pretty cool position, actually. It can look around, see what everyone else in the world is doing, and then forge its own path forward. You see, every major global player is tackling this differently. You've got the EU with its super strict, risk-based rulebook, focused on control. Then there's China, where it's all about state control and security. The US and the UK are kind of letting industry take the lead. And then you have Malaysia, carting out this really interesting middle path, trying to encourage innovation and ethics at the same time, starting with these voluntary guidelines. And you have to remember, this is a journey, not a final destination. The guidelines that just launched are only phase 1. The government has a clear roadmap, and the plan is to introduce formal, legally binding AI laws in 2026. So this stopgap measure is really designed to work for about 2 years. And that really leaves us with this one big, fascinating question. By choosing this path, guidance over rigid rules, balancing speed with a strong ethical compass, could Malaysia be creating a whole new blueprint? Could this become a model for other nations trying to harness the power of AI without losing their soul? The race for rules is definitely on, and you can be sure the rest of the world is watching.